Hello and welcome to another edition of Lion Pride Sports. I'm Neil Fisher. The Lindenwood lacrosse programs are some of the best in the country, and today we'll have the chance to talk with the men's lacrosse head coach about how they got there. Joining the show later will be Lindenwood softball head coach Liz Kelly to discuss how the season is going and what to look forward to, as well as Lindenwood softball player Stormy Galka to talk about another impressive season for her. But first, joining the show now is Lindenwood men's lacrosse head coach Jim Lange. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, Neil. Thanks for having me.
The season's going really well for you guys. You guys are 9-4 currently. Some could say it's a bounce back year from last year. Talk about a little bit about what happened last year and the differences coming into this year.
Yeah, last year was definitely a crazy year from us. 14 win season, 10 win, 10 plus win, and then going below 500. So that's not something as a coach that feels great, and you're going to strive to get better from that. So it was just some minor adjustments. We've always had a tough schedule. This year's no different. I think it's just kind of changing a little bit of the locker room culture, changing the way we do things on the practice field every day that has led us from going 6-7 to now 9-4 with 2 games to go.
And that's what I want to talk about. You touched on strength of schedule before we got in here and how difficult it is. And your 4 losses are all against ranked opponents.
Yeah.
Talk about going into the year and scheduling these opponents and what you look forward to in playing them.
Yeah, kind of like we talked about. I mean, Division II men's lacrosse is a different beast. There's no automatic qualifiers. Getting into the national tournament is all about strength of schedule, wins, losses. So a tough schedule is something I always try to put together for us. And I know with our facilities here and how we're right in the middle of the country, we're going to be able to get top recruits from all over the place. The thought going into it was we're going to learn a lot. We knew we had a lot of freshmen and sophomores that were going to be on the field. So did we expect to be 9-4 right now? Tough to say. We always think we have a shot at doing good things, but we were really going to test the mettle of our young guys. And like you said, all 4 of our losses have been to top 20 opponents, so that's a plus. We've been very confident that we could have beaten each and every one of those teams if we were on the whole game. It just wasn't our day.
And talking about being in the middle of the country, you guys are smack dab in St. Charles, Missouri, and your previous game was in North Carolina. What's it like to travel long distances for games like that?
It's tough. We had a game Thursday in Banner Elk, North Carolina. You've probably never heard of it. I hadn't until I was there either. Up in the mountains, it was a beautiful area, and then we had to go 4 hours east to Mount Olive, North Carolina, all the way, almost to the coast. It's a lot of travel, a lot of bus time. It's tough. But it's something we've always done here with Lindenwood Lacrosse. We haven't had a lot of teams in the Midwest, and that's changing, thank God, with the GLVC move. But it's something we've always done. We're used to it. You just have to really, bring in that student-athlete mentality, be able to get your work done on the road for classes, and then focus up on game day. Practicing on the road, before our game Saturday, we practiced in the rain all day on Friday. Somebody else's field. It's tough to really do a scout practice not knowing who's out watching and plus the rain. So you just got to deal with those type of things.
And what are the practices like when you go on the road before a game? Is it light and not very heavy and just running through plays and everything, or what's that like?
Yeah, it's light. Really it's about just getting the guys out and moving, getting the sticks in our hands. We might run through a couple things. Majority of the work that we're doing to prep for the game is going to be in the film room. However we're doing it on the road. If we can't get a meeting room, we're in the lobby or we're cramming into hotel rooms, doing it at different times. But most of the prep work when we're there is in the film room.
So when you guys get to the hotel, do you rent out the leadership rooms that they have usually and then get the projector going and shoot the video?
Yeah, we'll try not to rent out too much and try to do it for free as much as possible. And that's why sometimes we may do it in the lobby, hook a computer up to a TV in there. Or if we split up, offense, defense, special teams, just do it in a hotel room. Get the guys in there, a little more personal setting. Nobody can hide and doze off in a little room like that. So, whatever works, but we need to make sure that the film room is our key area to prep for a game.
So let's talk about the Mount Olive game now. It was your last game. They were ranked at number 13 in the country at the time. What did you see from the team that really wasn't working?
Yeah, that was a tough one. Again, the long road trip, having a game on Thursday, they just got out early and often on us. We tried a couple different things defensively, tried a new set offensively, and we still got the shots we needed. We weren't hitting the cage. Unfortunately, our shot on goal percentage was down. We did well on the face-off X. Could have had a few more saves, but it just was not our day that day. When you get down big early in a game, it's tough to bounce back.
And is that one of those things you look to on the road, especially going to other people's home fields and stuff, is to get out early and score that first goal and trying to swing the momentum in your favor?
Yeah, it is. That's something in every game. If you can get a comfortable lead to where our sport, it's a game of runs. We know every team's going to go on a 4, 5, 6 goal run at some point in time in the game. So you just got to prepare for that. Unfortunately, they went on a couple of those before we went on ours, and that was the biggest difference. But that's one of those with this young squad that I talked about, mostly freshmen and sophomores on the field. They don't have that experience to bounce back against a tough team when you go down big.
Well, and that's what I want to talk about too, is the freshmen and sophomores, the young kids. Who's stepping up for the leadership roles? Because there's only 5 seniors, and yeah, I'm sure they have their leadership roles. But I'm sure that one of the freshmen or sophomores do too.
Yeah, we've got a couple guys that have really stepped up, and it's not as much vocally right now. I mean, maybe a little bit, but with their effort that they bring every day. Sophomores like Carter Collins. I mean, you see him all over the field. He's a workhorse for us. And then you got freshmen even like Grant Glazier. Started out attack, playing midfield now, kind of filling a role. So as far as what his teammates are seeing, doing what he can for the team, that's massive in my eyes.
In going on these road trips as the players, and especially from a coach's perspective, do you see them bonding more and more in going into these big games and then coming home and you're like, okay, we have a great group now to work for? Yeah,
sometimes those long road trips crammed on the bus like sardines can be good and a bad thing. But no, yeah, they definitely do. You spend a lot of time together when you're gone, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 14 hours away from home. So the guys do bond, mixing up who rooms with who really helps them get to know each other better and more than just he's a righty and his number's 15. They get to learn a little bit about each other and their families. So yeah, they definitely get closer on the road.
And then let's go into this week and coming off of the loss and going to another tough team in Rockhurst. What do you guys prepare for in Rockhurst this week?
That's a rivalry game for us. It's always heated, fast-paced, heavy-hitting, high-scoring game. So we're excited about this one. We're there this year. The bad part is that we lost. The good part is now they're ranked ahead of us, so that's a plus for us. We haven't had too many games we played where teams were ranked ahead of us this year. So that's a big thing. We've got 2 border wars coming up, or 2 in-state games coming up, with Rockhurst and Maryville being our last 2 regular season games, and all 3 teams are having great seasons. So right now it's just about winning our backyard, and that's the mentality going into this week.
Well, and that's another thing I want to touch on too, is moving into the GLVC in the 2019-2020 season next year. You're going to face these teams all the time, and so what's it like to get an understanding of what they are like and how the style of play they do? And going into that next season?
Yeah, it's big. We've played them every single year just because, like we mentioned before, there's not a lot of teams in the Midwest. But now we'll see them most likely twice a year with a conference tournament coming up. So it's going to be huge to get to know them a little bit more. We recruit the same kids. We battle for the same kids. It's something that our players, that's a date, especially the Rockhurst game, that they have circled on their calendars. Last year was the first time they beat us. We always said it's not a rivalry till 2 teams win, because we had always won that battle. Now that they beat us, it's definitely a rivalry. It's going to go back and forth. They're a very talented team. So we're going into their turf on Saturday. It's going to be a loud, fast-paced, heavy-hitting game, like I mentioned, and the guys get up for this one. I don't have to do much to get them prepared.
And that's what I want to talk about. Do you really throw stuff around the locker room, get going before these types of games, or does it seem that the players kind of take care of that themselves and they're already jumping around and buzzing?
Yeah, no, a game like this, Rockhurst, we play these guys every fall and every spring. We know each other. They know the players. I don't have to do much but get them prepped for what they need to know about schemes. They're going to prep themselves as far as getting up for the game.
And so I want to touch on, does the strategy of the games transfer during the season? Do you take away plays from other teams that you've seen on film and incorporate that into your style of play?
At times that happens, but not normally. We kind of find our style. We build our offense and defense around the athletes that we have. We don't try to make them do too many things out of their comfort zone. We recruited them for certain details and aspects of their game that are strong, and we want to build into that and grow those to make us successful.
And you guys have one home game left. That is April 20th against Maryville. That'll be senior night.
Yep.
What have the seniors meant to this program? You've been here for a while and seen them grow.
Yeah, a lot. You know, we've only got one guy that transferred in. The other guys have been here for all 4 years. They mean a lot. You know, they show the young guys how to handle themselves, you know, on and off the field. They're great friends to everybody. They show up every single day with the same type of passion that I have now, being here for a long time, because this is their last year. They get it. They see the writing on the wall now. So it's important that we honor them next Saturday and everything they've given to this program. But those guys they understand what it is to be a Lindenwood men's lacrosse player, and they help the young guys realize that it takes more than just showing up on practice and game days.
Well, and that's what I was thinking, is showing up and practicing. It was like, maybe last year the team thought they were really good because in the previous seasons they had done really well on paper and in the games, and then you go into last season and it kind of just falls apart. And then this season it kind of grows back together. So I wonder what it's like to be one of the players or coaches that's seen them grow from going winning, and then a tough year and be back on the winning road.
Yeah, I think those seniors had a lot to do with that, because they saw their seniors last year while they were juniors and just how they felt in their final season having a down year. So they were prepped. They show up every single day, get guys ready to go and practice. And that's what's been a difference, in my opinion, is those upperclassmen that have been like, guys, we're not doing this again. We're not having a down year again. We've got to have the right mentality every single day.
And then one last remark on the GLVC. Transferring into the GLVC from being an independent team, what's that going to be like for you?
It's going to be great. You know, being back in a conference, it helps with scheduling. You know, you've got some built-in opponents every year. It helps build those rivalries, but it also gives our guys something to play for other than just a national tournament and an All-American. You know, you've got conference awards and a conference tournament to play for. It's tough when you know, like I told you, making the national tournament Division II men's lacrosse is hard. So if you know that you don't have a shot anymore, it's tough to get up for games. But no matter what, when you've got a conference tournament and conference awards to play for, it's huge. So I think it's really going to help our guys bring even a larger level of competitiveness every single day, knowing that we have a conference title to play for.
That's great, Coach. Thank you. That will do it for Lindenwood men's lacrosse head coach Jim Lange. The Lions' next home game is scheduled for April 20th against Maryville University. That will be senior day. Coming up, we'll talk with Lindenwood softball and what the rest of the season looks like for them next on Lion Pride Sports.
You got a king?
Go fish!
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back to Lion Pride Sports. I'm Neil Fisher. Lindenwood softball is coming to the final stretch of the season before the playoffs with a record of 20-14. Joining the show now is head coach Liz Kelly. Coach, how you doing?
Good, Neil. Thanks.
20-14. Were you expecting that kind of year out of this team?
I was, actually. We had a pretty tough non-conference schedule, so I'm pretty happy at 20-14 right now. We played some hard games, so you know we let a couple slip away from us early, and but now we're kind of getting back on track and looking to get going here in the end of the month.
Yeah, you guys have 6 conference games remaining in the MIAA. How much do those games mean, sitting at 8th place in the standings?
Well, they're huge, and the way the schedule worked this year for us is we played all the top schools early, so we just had to battle through that and use those games to get better, and we have done that. So now we're playing, you know, the lower half of the conference games, and we're looking forward to putting everything together here in the next 2 weeks.
How much did that mean to play those tough schools early and then get going with the MIAA play? It
was good because it really tested us, and we had some big wins early in February, And then we had a little bit of a roller coaster ride, and now we're kind of back on track and we're eking up here. So we're excited.
How has the pitching been for you this year? I know it was outstanding last year. It looks on pace to be the same this year.
Yeah, it's good. Stormy is leading our team right now with and our pitching staff. Maddie Corwell also has thrown some really quality innings, and she's starting to come on. She's a freshman, so as you know, you kind of got to feel your way through and make your way your first year, and she's figuring that out. And Marina Esparza has also thrown some good quality innings for us.
Does it mean more to play at home for you guys if you guys are more of a pitching style offense? Because I know at Lou Brock Sports Complex the fields are a little big and a little bigger than others in the MIAA. So what does that mean to play at home?
It's huge. We love playing at home. We love our fans. We get so many people out at the games, and we have such a great support. And our field is so great, is so nice. So as you know, you get true hops, and it's a home field advantage for sure. So we're hitting the road to play our last series. So we just have to become that tough road team here coming up.
And then on the road, it's kind of like a dog style in the MIAA conference going on the road because traveling is pretty far. I mean, there's not very many travels that are close. Lincoln is the closest, and you guys match up with them twice, once there, once at home. What's that going to be like going only an hour and a half down to Jeff City? Yeah,
that'll be a day trip for us. It'll be up and back, and it'll be obviously one of the shorter trips that you said. It's almost just have a little relaxing ride down there, and then get geared up and play the game. Then in our last weekend, we play at Southwest Baptist and Central Missouri, which by the MIAA standards is not a far trip. It's one of the closer trips. So we kind of look forward to being on the road, but not having to go to Kansas and Oklahoma.
And that's what the baseball team's on the road too this coming stretch. But again, it's the Southwest Baptist, Central Missouri, and Northwest all within about 4 hours. Not going to like Central Oklahoma or Fort Hays, one of those 7-hour trips. So how much does it mean to already have those all out of the way, and while you're going and while you're playing good and everybody knowing what their job is, to go on this stretch where, yeah, you're going on the road, but it's not that far?
Right. We're excited. We're excited to get to the next game and see what we can do. So our team knows, they're primed up, and they know we're ready to start peaking here. It's time. Conference season is right here at the end, conference tournament. So it's time for us to ratchet it up and get going. We've learned a lot of lessons in the games that we've played this far, and now it's time to put it all together, and the team's really excited.
Talk about your lineup a little bit, because the lineup 1 through 9 is pretty stacked. I mean, you look up and down the stat sheet, and 300 batting average all across the board, basically. So how great is that to see from your team?
It is. It is so nice to have the bottom of the lineup provide such capabilities for us, possibilities for us. They have come through so much this year, and boy, and then it just turns the lineup over, and now we're back at the beginning, and everybody is a tough out this year. No easy outs for these teams, and the whole lineup has really done a great job.
And quick thoughts on the GLVC transferring into the GLVC next year. A lot of coaches like the decision to go to the GLVC. What are your thoughts?
Well, like you were saying about travel, that's the biggest thing, is the travel will be reasonable now. We have 5 teams within an hour and a half of St. Louis area. So that'll be nice. Our farthest trip, I think, will be 4 hours away to Louisville. So we're looking forward to it. I came from the GLVC here, so I'm familiar a little bit with each of the programs, and they're very tough and respectable conference. So I'm excited to move over.
And one quick remark: what are you looking forward to the rest of the season?
I'm looking for our team to play the best that we can. And, we really have to get back to playing one pitch at a time and just take it slow, because we can beat anybody, I feel like, in our conference, and that's what we're going to look to do.
Great, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks, Neil.
That will do it for Lindenwood softball head coach Liz Kelly. Their next home game is April 13th against Lincoln University. Coming up, we'll chat with Lindenwood softball standout Stormy Galka about how she got to be one of the top players in the country. Next on Lion Pride Sports.
skinny one's broccoli. Thanks for helping us. No problem. You're welcome.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it, or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Welcome back to Lion Pride Sports. I'm Neil Fisher. Joining the show now is Lindenwood softball standout Stormy Galka. Stormy, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. You are having a phenomenal career at Lindenwood. What's it been like to just play softball?
It's been pretty well. It's been pretty much what I've dreamed of my whole life, just playing collegiate sport, any one that I would have played. But it's been a really good experience.
And how did you get to Lindenwood from Arizona?
I got recruited by our assistant coach in Colorado that I was picking up a team for. So I wasn't even playing on the team I normally play for. And I got recruited, and coach got a hold of me, and originally she was in the GLVC then, so I was going there. And then 2 weeks before the first day of classes at Lindenwood, my freshman year, she called me and said that she's leaving, and they released me to come with her. So I had a decision to make. So that was my first hard decision of life. And then I chose to come over here, and I still think that was the best decision I could have ever made. Have you had any other hard softball decisions to make since you've been at Lindenwood? Throwing the ball to first base, maybe. Is that tough? Yeah. I don't know. That's been my hardest thing since I've been here. But if I strike them out, I won't need to do that. Yeah, let's talk about that. I mean, your ERA is 3.36 this year in 98 innings. You've struck out more than 50 batters. What's your approach in the circle when hitters step up to the plate? I've really thought about this season throwing every game is a championship game. I came in freshman year and we didn't have the best season freshman year, and then sophomore year I was like, I'm better than what I was, so I need to be better. And then I did so well last year, I walked into coach's office and I was like, now what? Because I was like, how am I going to do any better? And then she pretty much told me not to worry about it, and I wanted to have the approach play the best that I can every time I'm in the circle. So I think that's helped me a lot, and I've really worked on trusting my defense this year. So I think that's also helped me be able to hit my spots. And you've set some records in the circle at Lindenwood. You have 16 wins. That's a record for wins in a single season. And you're at 12 right now. Do you see you breaking that record this year? Yeah, we're going to shoot for it, but I'm more worried about winning as a team. I don't really mind who's in the circle. I just know we need to win out. So I hope we just win out, and if I break the record, it happens, and if not, then we win. So. And let's talk about the team for a second, because you guys are at 8th in the MIAA standings, which is right on the border. You're going to get into the playoffs if it ended today, but you have 3 series left, and all on the road. So what's that going to be like going on the road? I think that we're going to be fine. We, like Coach said, we started out the season, our tough part of the season, and so it was really nice to see that we did capture some wins that we didn't get last year, but we also need to finish out the season. And going on the road to the teams that we're going to play, I have full confidence that we could win out the rest of the season. And let's talk about the hitting plan for the team in general, because almost everybody in the lineup is hitting above 300, including yourself. So what is the plan 1 through 9 when you guys walk out to the field? Our plan is pretty much just do things little. So we have to score runs. So I feel like we've been trying to be too big sometimes, but these past few games we've really focused on just doing our job. So if we need to bunt, we get the bunt down and worry about moving that girl from first to second than worrying about if we get to first base. And so I think that if we play the game as a team instead of an individual, I think we're going to be fine. And last year you had 176 at-bats and you had 2 strikeouts. And you were named the hardest player in D2 softball to strike out. What does that mean to you and to your hitting philosophy and approach? It's really cool. I didn't know that was even an award, so that was really cool to get. I didn't really think about it. Like, I didn't know that I even had only 2 strikeouts with however many at-bats. Like, I just don't like striking out. Like, it's horrible. I'd rather just hit the ball and run and they get me out, make them get me out. So, I don't know. It's just something that, like, I want to put the ball on the field, and I want them to get me out, and I don't want the pitcher to get me out because I'm a pitcher. So I know how it feels to strike someone out, and I'm not going to let her do that to me.
And that's one thing I want to touch on is, do you recognize pitches better out of the pitcher's hand because you are a pitcher and you know the style of what you want to throw in different counts and scenarios?
I honestly, I don't know. We're so close, so it's like if you see the pitch, you normally see it, you see the grip. So you don't really see the spin as much. Like, you'll see it coming in, you'll see it coming out, but you're so close. The thing that I focus on when I'm in the box is a lot of coaches in the MIAA use the number sequences to call a pitch. And my first at-bat, I really pay attention. And I've been getting a lot of pitches in this season, so I've been seeing like 6 to 7 pitches in at-bat in the first at-bat. And by my second at-bat, I feel like I have like picked up on what they're saying. So I kind of know where the location is coming before she's throwing it. And they've pretty much have notes on me. I've been here for, this is my 3rd year, so they have just been throwing me inside. So that's just something that I've had to work on. So I've probably had all inside pitches since the season started, rather than a couple.
And then a quick last remark, going to the GLVC next season, what's that going to be like for you?
I don't really know. I just think that an opponent is an opponent, and I don't really care who they are. It's just, I think that we need to work hard no matter where we are, who we're playing, and we need to work hard as a team to win. That's
great. Thank you. Thank you to Stormy and Coach Kelly for joining me today. Their next home game is April 13th against Lincoln University. And also, thank you to Coach Lange for coming on to discuss the men's lacrosse season. Their next home game is April 20th against Maryville University. That will do it for this episode of Lion Pride Sports. I'm Neil Fisher. Thanks for watching.